I'm Loui Fazakerley, member of the ASPSU, Welling United right back and Conference South champion.
Well, thanks for joining us today. Welcome to the latest update from Our Game Football and ASPSU. Some of you will know, my name is Francis Duke and I founded Our Game and current chairman of the ASPSU Executive Committee. I'm joined today by Loui Fazakerley, Welling United's, well, previously called him dynamic right wing back, but as you can see, he's also this year's Blue Square South Conference South champion as well. Loui, thanks for joining us today.
Nice to be here, mate. Nice to be here.
Well, just the reason we're here today, you've obviously, well, don't know if you actually know, you were the first person to join ASPSU when we came around to speak to your boys at Welling.
Yeah.
You've obviously had a great season, or what's ended up as a great season, becoming title winners.
Yeah.
But you've also had a bit of, well, let's say a trouble along the way when you broke your foot late on into the season. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? What happened?
Yeah, well, you know, when you came in and saw us about the insurance policy, it was something I knew I wanted to do straight away. Something I've been meaning to do over the last few years of my career. You know, as you get older, you know, you tend to have a few injuries, few niggles, and I'm self-employed, so it only made sense for me to jump on the policy, and it just worked out perfectly for me because I think it might have been, was it 2 months later or something like that? 2-3 months later, I've gone and broke my third metatarsal in my right foot. You know, it was a training ground incident. You know, it was just one of those things. It's just a bit of a bad tackle, and yeah, before I knew it, you know, broke my metatarsal, and I ended up being out for 10 weeks. Being self-employed, that kind of affected me because I'm a personal trainer. So, you know, it ended up being very beneficial for me. You know, it helped me out financially. I was also on a contract as well, so you know, it was an extra bonus.
Well, I mean, I remember seeing your Twitter and Facebook updates when you did the injury,
yeah.
And I actually wanted to banter you about putting your toes on, well, over to the nation.
Hey mate, they're pretty toes, I think. They're pretty toes.
Wear socks on the beach, just But no, when I spoke to you, you sounded, you know, quite depressed. I mean, it was a big blow for you. I mean, I obviously know the times I've spoken to you, you're really pushing on this season with Welling, enjoying the season.
Yeah.
Then the injury came at a time where, you know, it could have meant season over. Yeah,
exactly. I was told 12 weeks I'll be out, and that would have meant I would miss the whole season, you know. And we was obviously in the title running, you know, and we had been flying. We had won 12 games in a row prior to that. You know, I was playing kind of the best football of my long career. So yeah, I was feeling great, and yeah, it was devastating to be out, especially saying I was out for the season. But I went and got some great treatment over at Pure Sports Medicine over in Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
Great guys over there. He told me, Brad Neal down there told me he can get me back playing in 8 weeks, which would have been great, you know. Would have had
metatarsal break as well. That's
exactly. So it ended up just dragging on a little bit. Ended up being 10 weeks, but I made the second to last game, which, as it happened, was the title clincher.
Okay.
You know, and as it happened, we was in big injury trouble. You know, we had a left back injured, we had a right back injured, we had a centre back suspended. So it was good timing for me to make my comeback, and we got the point we needed away at Borehamwood.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just great to be back on the pitch after being told, you know, I missed the whole season. It was great to be back on the pitch, and it's great to win the league, man.
I think it's fair to say then, you know, the fact you had this insurance, you became a member of the union, contributed a lot to that because it helped you obviously with your costs for the physiotherapy.
Yeah.
Which otherwise, if you'd been left to, you know, great respect, normal physiotherapy or what most non-league players would have had, it would have definitely been a season-ending injury.
Yep.
But additionally, likewise, in terms of, you know, your work, you say self-employed personal trainer, being able to have some extra money coming in to cover any lost income through not being able to work or any costs which you'd have incurred along the way as well, I'd imagine would have been a great help as well.
Yeah, massive help, because I was fortunate enough to still be on a contract, so I was obviously still receiving my wages from Welling.
So it's in effect, well, money on top of your ordinary football wages.
Exactly, yeah. So it was an extra bonus for me, you know. So it was a silver lining in the cloud, you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, being self-employed, I found it in the beginning difficult to personal train my clients, you know. So I wasn't doing as many sessions, so that extra money came in, you know. The weekly allowance that came in was a great help. And the contribution towards the sessions as well, because I decided to go down quite an expensive route down in Canary Wharf, but you know, you pay for what you get, so I didn't mind paying that extra money for the treatment because it was great treatment, and the contribution from the policy obviously helped me out massively.
Cool. I mean, just to clarify as well, that ordinarily the policy would pay for your full physiotherapy, but as you say, you went for the central London practice, you went for people you knew because you're obviously through your own business, you've come across these guys that do a lot of good work with you already. It was above our policy limits, but we would have covered, you know, full cost for people within our limits. But it's worked fantastically for you, as you say. It got you back fit, got you back available to play. Just going too deep psychologically as well, lift on your shoulders as well, being able to play, not missing out on what you'd worked hard for.
100%.
Well, 3 years really with your time at Welland. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was just great to get back playing. Also, you know, the scan was covered as well. You know, I went and received the MRI scan, which notified that I was ready to return. So it's quite an important scan, and that was covered in the policy as well. So I can't recommend it highly enough. You know, I've tried to speak to as many young players as possible to get them on board, because you know, I don't see why anyone wouldn't have it. You know, especially young players. They're not working, they're only receiving football money, some of them might be on contracts, you know, as soon as they get injured. You know, it's unfortunately happened at my club twice. You know, you've had Loui early on in the season, unfortunately was out for the whole season, and he wasn't covered, he didn't have any cover. Same goes with Conor McLaren, you know, another young player who wasn't covered and was out for the season, you know. So wow, you know, it wasn't great for them, and you know, all our sympathy goes out to them. They would have possibly had, well, they would have had some good help if they were on board.
With the injuries which they suffered, it's not an exaggeration to say the payments would have been, you know, in the four figures. Without delving too much into your side, you know, I just want to highlight the point. As a member for probably 7-8 months now, your total outlay to have been a member, you know, this is not just insurance, the entire union and all the services that go with it, would have been £240 by now. Your payout exceeded £2,000, so you know, you've had nearly 10 times as much as you've paid in already. Now, for us as a business, it's not great, but this is what we're here for. This is what we've set this up for. You know, we've deliberately tried to price it so it's attractive enough for people to be able to afford to pay. For what it's cost you £30 a month, I mean, do you even really miss it? Is it something you notice that's coming away from you?
Nah, not at all. You know, in the beginning, as soon as you hear you have to pay for something, you know, a lot of lads, it puts people off. You know, but you know, with the service that I run, the camps that I run, you know, our big slogan is all about investing in yourself. You know, and that's massive. You got to invest in yourself. So £30 a month to invest in your in your health and your well-being.
Less than £1 a day.
Less than, break it down like that. You know.
Bottle of Lucozade, whatever, costs you more than what we're asking for.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's a small price to pay for the massive benefits and the cover that you get. You know, so I'll once again go on record to highly recommend it to any player out there.
I appreciate that. I mean, one of the things I wanted to get across with this interview was obviously I've gone and spoke to a lot of people. It's something new. A number of players will possibly look at it and think it's new. I want to see, you know, it works first of all before they get involved. You are you know, living proof that it does work. Not only have you been paid and, you know, paid well as per the policy terms and conditions, but it's also really contributed to your work life, B, your football life, and ultimately is that you get back to be on the pitch to pick this up in person. No, fair play. I mean, we just want people to understand that it's here as something to help. We've put a service together, you know, which we know players need. This has come from personal playing experience as well as speaking to a number of players across the time. You've mentioned Loui and Conor McLaren, but you know, I can assure you there's been a number of players who we've spoken to over the course of the season who have, let's say, they've ummed and ahed about whether to do it or not, and then they've been injured. Unfortunately, some of them have actually got on the phone to us afterwards to ask, is there anything we can do? Then we can help you as much as we can, but we can't put you back on insurance then again, because you know, that it's just not something that's physically possible. So guys, if you're playing, you want to get proper protection, you need to make the same decisions as Loui did, because I'm sure you learned, well, if you didn't have another injury for the next 10 years, you'd actually still be in credit from what you've had from it. So.
Yeah, that's very true.
And you and I both know you won't be playing in 10 years' time either. So, no, it's something which, as a player, I'm sure you're glad you did. And we invite everyone else to look at the same and to, well, ask us questions if nothing else, because we've got answers to be able to share with you. We've got a case study here to see how it works. So guys, this is something here for you if you want to protect yourself and look after yourself in your football careers. ASPSU is the place to be.
Boom.
Thanks a lot.
Top man.
Cheers, thank you. So there you have it. That's the first story from an ASPSU member having to claim on the insurance and seeing the benefits which have come through to him because he decided to be a member. For the cost which we charge for membership, which is inclusive of insurance and all the other services, including the cars, the holidays, the accountancy services, the discounted boots, etc., we think we offer fantastic value for money. If you speak to Loui Fazakerley and ask him, I think he'd probably find he'd agree, as he's been a member for 8 months. He's got over nearly 10 times his membership premiums back already. Even if he hadn't got those premiums back, I think it's quite clear as well, he'd be quite happy to have paid that and just stayed injury-free, because staying injury-free is a bonus. You play football, the chances are you will get injured at some point in your career, but if the worst happens, we have got something in place to be able to help you through it. Your clubs can only help you so much. As it's fine with at Welling, there have been 3 major injuries this year. Loui was the only one who was insured with us, and I think you'll also find his experience of being injured has been very, very different to those who didn't have the insurance as well. It's something that's there for you guys to take advantage of if you want to, and for those who do want to, or just even to ask us a question, you can find us. All our details are here for you at our website at ourgamefootball.com. You can email us at info@ourgamefootball.com, or even call us at 0208 166 5785.